Hey y'all, today on the farm, we're about to fulfill a promise I told y'all. I told you it was time to put this subsolar in the dirt. We're gonna jump out here today and bury that thing in the ground 18 to 24 inches deep and let it rip. For those y'all who haven't been keeping up and follow along, this is an 11 shank KMC V-Ripper, also known as a subsolar. In the past month or so, I've posted a few videos of the process of taking this down to bare metal and repainting it and putting bearings and shin guards and points and doing hard surfacing on the back of the shanks. Done a lot of work with this machine over the past month or two to get it ready for this season. I still haven't got in. I need another hub assembly and wavy disc. A few little details aren't on it yet, but it is complete enough that we can start running, and it is past time to put it in the ground. The reason we subsoil down here is we farm red clay. That's what I farm, and it turns into brick. It will turn into a hard brick. If you don't subsoil your red clay this time of year, we will get rains and they will run right off the top of it. They will not soak in. Rain can't soak into that hard compacted clay. The harder it rains or the more frequently it rains, the clay will get tighter and tighter and tighter, and subsequently the rains will run off the surface instead of soaking in. If we subsoil it, run the shank as deep as possible, it breaks through the hard pan and allows the rains to soak into the ground and get in there and stay preserved instead of running off and eroding the field. They are absorbed by the field and the ground will retain its moisture longer. I am running wavy coulters right in front of the shanks. The purpose of these coulters is to just break the surface, break the crust ahead of that shank. And what that does is prevents big dirt clods of rolling out. If you just run a shank straight in some red clay, a lot of times it'll turn up what we call pumpkins, big red pumpkins. If you have this coulter right in front of the shank, it will slice what would have been that pumpkin in half. And so you get a lot less clods if you run a big disc or coulter right in front of your shank. Behind the shanks is a series of S-tines. These S-tines is going to further incorporate a little bit of the dirt and try to break up a few more of the clods. They do spring, and so they will have a little bit of give to them. They will further break up the clods into smaller clods, and behind them is a large drag pipe. That drag pipe will leave the ground smooth. If there are any boulders or big dirt clods rolled up, that pipe's going to mash them back down, leave the ground smooth behind this implement. I got the tractor all filled up, so now we're going to add a little bit of weight and a little bit of traction to the front. I'm already putting a lot of weights, but I'm going to add a couple of more wheels to the front. And by putting them on there, that's going to put more weight on the front and help us get a little more traction so we can steer better. All with that subsolar buried in the ground behind us, it's going to make the front end kind of light, make steering difficult. I am back at the shop now because the bottom of this shank wore slam off. You see, it should look like this. Should have this extension that comes all the way out to here and has a point on it, but it has wore off the weld. What happens is, as the wear of the dirt pulling on this all day comes across it, it will wear through the weld, what welds that bottom piece on. And once that weld gets worn through, then the bottom piece with the fresh, unfortunately the fresh point I just put on comes off. And now I gotta drop the whole shank off and weld on a new bottom piece and put a brand new point on. this is where the shear bolt goes in at. Keeps it up here like this. This is what they look like after they've been run about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a fresh one in while we got the subsolar up in the air here. Comment below if you think that well's gonna hold. For some reason, the replacement foot isn't as long as the previous replacement feet, but I don't know. I got it welded up best I can. We'll see how it goes. The depth that I'm running is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. There are areas out here in this field that are a lot harder than some other areas. So any area that's kind of a little bit lower and redder, where water may have stood, it will make the ground pack tighter. And then you get into areas that aren't as red, or maybe on top of a hill, they're not as hard. And so on those areas that are extra hard, I have to pick up on the lift a little bit or slow my speed down just a little bit. And in the areas where they are a little less hard, I can actually run a little bit deeper and speed up a little bit. The goal is to get everything sufficiently done as deep as possible. I don't run to anything shallower than 15 inches, but if I can go 20, I'm going to go 20. But if I'm doing it any less than 15, then I'm really defeating the purpose of being out here. So I just got to make sure I can maintain the maximum depth at all times and make sure that I'm at least 15 inches deep at all times, but preferably 18 to 20. And I still got a little ways to go, but I thank all y'all for watching. I hope to see you next time. Tell them bye-bye.